Why should you join the Livingston County Republican Party?
Why, you ask?
Yeah, why?
Why join?
The Republican Party is the party of common sense.
Common sense.
Republicans support the Constitution.
Republicans protect your rights.
We fight to keep your children safe.
We fight to keep boys and men out of girls and women's sports.
We fight to keep boys out of girls' restrooms.
All right, we had some technical problems, and we're here. We made it. Good evening, and welcome to the special July 26th. Oh my gosh, it's the end of July. How did that happen? July 26th, a special edition of the podcast, and we have our wonderful, and I got to kick him under the table because he looked at me, our wonderful guest, Gubernatorial Candidate John James, Congressman John James.
What's going on, guys?
Thank you for Congressman for coming on out here and braving we had a little bit of technical problems here that we normally don't have, but you know what I mean. But
we adapt and overcome, right?
Yeah, we do. Here we go. Come on, what's going on here? Did your screen go blue?
Blue screen.
Blue screen. Time. Ta-da! There we go. All right, we're back. So we're back here with Congressman John James. I am so happy he's here. This is, we got 8 or 9 days left until we make our decisions. So I'm going to get right in on the questions. Welcome, Congressman. Thank you for coming and visiting us.
So glad to be here.
Tell us why you're the guy. Why are we voting for you? What's the most special thing about you that we should know?
Well, I'm not special. I'm a servant. I'm here to submit to the Lord and serve his people. I still believe we serve a God of miracles and the best is yet to come. I also believe that experience matters. And when it comes to what it's going to take to heal our state and fix our state from the 7-8 years of damage caused by Gretchen Whitmer and her administration, is going to take somebody who has experience bringing people together to accomplish tough missions in austere environments. I'm a combat veteran. I fought for this country before, and I'm going to be fighting for our state. And somebody who's going to be the commander-in-chief of the National Guard, and somebody who's going to be preparing us for disasters and making sure we stay out of them in the first place. Having that ability and that experience is something that truly matters. My opponents on the Democrat side certainly don't have that. When you look at what it takes to grow prosperity, to grow business, I've actually grown a business before in Michigan coming out of the Great Recession. Understanding what it takes to grow jobs and frankly bring Lansing to heal to benefit the state of Michigan. These are the types of things that are going to help organizations like Eagle that think they know your business better than you do. We're going to be fixing that. And then also President Trump endorsed because he believes that I'm the best person to help lead the state, working with him to help make Michigan great again, a state that takes 40% of our budget from the federal government for everything from healthcare to infrastructure. Having somebody who can pick up the phone and call these secretaries and make sure that we are at the front of the list and not the back. Those are the types of things that materially will help the state of Michigan. I've already delivered for the people of the state of Michigan in the 10th Congressional District. Most recently, nearly $400 million for infrastructure upgrades and also for Selvidge Air National Guard base, and working with the president to bring a fighter mission to the state of Michigan. Also, the president signed my bill to protect the automotive industry. These are the things that having experience before you become the executive of a state, you should have experience being executive of a company, leading people in combat, and also working with the president for the benefit of the people whom you're already serving. So I'm excited to lead and I'm excited to serve.
Awesome. First 3 things you're going to do in office.
Well,
you came really close to getting kicked there. Really close. I resisted though. Go ahead.
Like I said, submit to the Lord and serve his people.
Okay.
I truly believe that getting the priorities straight is the very first step. So number one, on day one, I'm going to opt into the education freedom tax credit that we passed in the working family tax cuts last year. This is money that other states are taking that they have the ability to spend on their children, but Gretchen Whitmer won't opt in. So it's day one as governor, I'm going to opt into this program so you have the ability to send your children where they'll be safest and most successful. Getting the resources to get everything from new books to tutoring, because that decision is up to you. Number two, I'm going to be putting in rule of law justices where I have the opportunity. I'm going to be putting in directors who recognize that the role of government should be fair, efficient, and limited, and going to be driving efficiency and accountability throughout organizations like Eagle, and making sure that we have a government that's accountable to the people. And then third, I'm going to be working with the legislature, laying out my plan to really focus on local control, starting with Public Act 233, and making sure that we restore local control, and that we make sure that we get our electricity bills back in order. Our energy issues are tough. And then also something you asked for 3.
You can have 4. I'm feeling generous today.
Mental health and addiction is something that's really near and dear to my heart. We have a mental health crisis in the state of Michigan that our schools, our jails, and our hospitals weren't designed to fix. We absolutely need to address the mental health crisis, the suicide crisis, the addiction crisis, and that's something that I've experienced. I had a roommate in flight school at West Point who went off to combat, but he did not survive the unseen wounds of war. And he took his own life a number of years ago, and it was devastating for everyone who knew him. And I know that you have a story like that too. You have somebody in your family, you have someone in your community who's suffering with mental health and addiction. And so making sure that we invest in those resources, organizations that are doing a good job, and also for mental health institutions, for community mental health as well. Those are organizations that are doing a great job, but they need a little bit of a strong leadership, guidance, and making sure that we're allocating the resources appropriately to actually meet the need. So you asked for 3, I gave 4. It's really focusing on, I would say, education, energy, economy, and mental health.
Wonderful. Awesome. So tell me then, those are the things you want to do. That's great. Tell me something you really need to learn when you get in there. What is it you really need to kind of study up on, or maybe lean on somebody to help you with?
I believe very firmly that you have to listen and learn before you lead. I think the more I learn, the more I recognize that I need to learn and grow. As I go around the state, I really want people to see their reflection in my campaign, and that's important because I want you to see your reflection in our administration. And so I would say that I don't know everything about anything, and so as I go and I've spent a lot of time with farmers, and I'm beginning to understand more in depth and broadly some of their issues. I'm beginning to understand different areas, but I would say the thing that I need to learn most of is probably, man, I hate to say this, patience. There's so many things that are broken. The state's on fire. Our roads are still not fixed. Our children are being failed by our school system. These sick care cartels led by big pharma and the hospitals and the insurance companies are still gouging us. We still have illegals voting in our elections, and fraudsters taking our Medicaid. There are many things that need to be fixed right now, but working with the legislature is a different beast, which again,
you know a softball. That segue that was. Right. That was my next question.
Working with the legislature is going to be tough, but I have experience in the legislature and recognize what it's going to take to be successful. This might be a segue into your next question. I don't know.
That was exactly it. That was, how are you going to work with the legislature? Governor Snyder. Yeah. I remember those first years. I've worked in the legislature through 3 different governors, and I remember when Governor Snyder first came in, and there was a little bit of, not bad, but there was some awkwardness in moving, because the legislature are independent from the governor's office, and it's not like you can just dictate. So tell me how that's going to work, where you're going to be able to work with you're the guy that can work with the legislature.
So my heart and my desire is I want to fix everything right now. Right? You don't, like, when a house is on fire, you don't want to like put out the kitchen and put this out and do whatever.
Right.
But again, we have to make sure that we're focusing on the root causes of these issues while also having a long-term vision without forgetting that people need help right now. And so this is why establishing a very strong team in my administration is going to be very important, driving down values, driving down vision, driving down integrity and transparency and ethics. And so they recognize that these rights are endowed to us by our Creator, guaranteed by the government, and they will absolutely uphold the Constitution and every single right that you have. And then by translation, you're getting the resources you need. But in the meantime, working with the legislature and giving them the resource and motivation that they need. And I have experience doing that. Nobody else has experience doing that. Experience matters. I've actually gotten a bill passed the House and the Senate and signed by a Democrat president. I've gotten a bill passed through the House and the Senate and gotten it signed by a Republican president. President Biden signed my bill to push back on human trafficking. And President Trump signed my bill to push back on the California auto mandates that would have cratered the automotive industry. In addition to being able to work through the legislature, my very first bill was to protect Medicare and Social Security Act, and I negotiated that into something that was signed into law within my first 6 months in Congress. And so again, understanding what it's going to take to get things passed, regardless of what the people give. This is no excuses leadership. I've had no excuses leadership fighting after 9/11 in combat. I've had no excuses leadership growing my company in Detroit out of the Great Recession. And I've had no excuses leadership getting things done for the state of Michigan, regardless of who is in power in the legislature or signing the bills. And I'm looking forward to being on the signing the bill side to make sure that your interests are protected and our state moves forward.
Wonderful. I've looked around you, and you've got quite the team. Besides, I mean, the really big gun with the endorsement of President Trump. You have some other pretty powerful endorsements. We switched computers and lost our connection, but most notably, recently, you had former candidate Mike Cox drop out. That was kind of a shocker to us in Livingston County. But that's great that you were able to pick up his endorsement. Talk about some of your other key endorsements and maybe the key team that might be coming with you.
Yeah, so first and foremost, Mike, Laura, if you're listening, thank you so much. Many people may not know, but Mike and Laura were there from the very beginning. Back in 2017, when I was first getting started, I didn't have a campaign penny to my name, and they let me get my campaign started off in their office in Livonia. I'll never forget that. So I'm grateful for that, which makes Mike's endorsement of this campaign means so much more. Mike's a fighter. And he endorsed me because he believes that I'm in the best position and I'm the best one to bring our team together, our Republican Party together, to defeat socialism that is no longer on the doorstep. It's inside our house. And Mike recognizes what's at stake. And this is not the time for half measures. Now is the time to come together, to unify behind the candidate who Mike Cox endorsed, who Tom Leonard endorsed, who Eric Nesbitt endorsed, who countless law enforcement organizations and leaders all around the state endorsed, and most importantly, President Trump endorsed. Because we are on the same team. We have to focus on the issues, and the biggest issues are the fact that Democrats are going to take our country into a dark socialist area, and we do not want to go there. So again, I'm grateful to Mike, I'm grateful to the president, I'm grateful to all our other friends, and I'm going to pay it forward by working my tail off over the next 9 days, or it's 100 days right now until
the general.
And we have a lot of work to do because we have to save this state for our children.
Awesome. So, here in Livingston County, we have a firm belief, and we call it "Who's going to pull the purple?" And it's basically that purple independent base between it's kind of equal to the Republicans and the Democrats. So in the end, somebody has got to pull. In order to win, you got to pull more of those independents than Jocelyn can. So why are you the guy that can pull the independents away from Jocelyn?
Well, the first is that you can't show up to the fight without your team. And the Republican Party, that's my team. But I'm in the Republican Party because it aligns most closely with my economic and moral objectives. I ultimately report to you, and I serve the Lord. And so the way we're going to get independence is the same way that we would get anybody, is focusing on common sense over crazy. And these are the types of things that help I've already won a purple district twice.
Oh.
And in 2020, if Jocelyn Benson and Dana Nessel and Gretchen Whitmer hadn't had their thumb on the scale, we know it would have turned out differently in the state of Michigan.
That's true.
And so these are things that I've already done. I've already won over independents because we focus on issues that matter. Republicans have a plan to protect our rights. Republicans have a plan to fix our school systems. Republicans have a plan to put more of your tax dollars back into your pocket. Republicans have a plan to protect your daughters and your sisters from biological males in their sports in their locker rooms. Republicans have a plan to protect all 10 million of us from people who are being released out on the streets by activist judges, DAs, and prosecutors. Republicans have a plan to make sure that we hold our families together. Republicans have a plan to protect our productive green farmland. And Republicans have a plan to hold sick care cartels accountable and make Michigan healthy again. Republicans have a plan to absolutely deliver, and common sense will rule over craziness. And that resonates regardless of who you are. And I can tell you, in a district like Michigan's 10th Congressional District, we do not suffer fools lightly. I have been elected twice in the Detroit area, and that is the type of profile that it takes to lead an entire state, regardless of race, color, creed, east side, west side, upper peninsula, or lower peninsula, focusing on the rights, focusing on affordability, focusing on execution, and focusing on results.
I don't need to ask you any more now. That was a very good answer. Okay, wow, it was ready for that one. It's important though. People aren't thinking that. They're thinking, oh, I really like this, or I really like this about this person. Who cares? Who can beat Benson? That's the question.
Right.
None of that other stuff matters. That what you just said, that matters.
And we're so sick and tired of their excuses. I'll be able to prosecute the case against her like nobody else can. She has a lot of issues. She's got, like, remember those old shows? Lucy got some splaining to do. Look, Jocelyn's got some splaining to do.
Yes, she do.
She's got some splaining to do
Yes,
about why she hasn't answered about her SPLC ties when we are actually tracking through DOJ that they were funneling money to the KKK. She's got some splaining to do with the 16 plus illegal immigrants that she's allowed vote to our election. She's got some splaining to do with what her family has been getting from these data centers and from outside people. She's got some splaining to do in areas why she has at least 2 racial discrimination lawsuits against her. She's got some splaining to do while she's talking about choo-choo trains. Meanwhile, Gretchen Whitmer hasn't fixed our roads yet, and she's been in that administration for 8 years. Now all of a sudden she's coming up with new ideas. Look, these are all things that she's got to answer for. And we have the next 100 days to make sure that we hold her feet to the fire, because this is the fire they created. We are going to run toward the fire. We're going to put it out, but we have to come together as a team to make sure that we save our state.
Right. And I'm glad to hear you say that, because I cannot stress that enough. I just published our Unity breakfast flyer, and come hell or high water, we need to get over it, or we need to lick our wounds. You got that night, next morning, 9 o'clock, you got to get over it. We're going to be here. You just said the magic 2 words, data centers. Where are you?
Well,
that's a hot topic these days.
This is there's not a day that goes by where I don't get this question.
I bet you don't. I bet you do.
I'll tell you what, because it's that important. It's that important. Michigan is open for business, but we are not for sale. Look, I've said it everywhere I can go, because you need to hear it. Okay. No new data centers until we have a plan to protect our people. Number 1, local control. Number 2, our electricity bills can't go up. Number 3, we protect our water. Number 4, we prevent pollution. That's land, air, water, and noise pollution. And 5, we must, if we do this, prioritize blighted and brownfield over productive green farmland. And going a long way, I said in the beginning, is we have to repeal Public Act 233.
Oh, that's music to Livingston County. Let me tell you.
Lansing will not dictate to locals. Our rights are endowed to us by our Creator, and the rights are protected closest to the people. Well, and this means even in local control, we have to be clear. Agreed. No NDAs. We're talking about the locals, because even local government is government. And I don't trust a government that doesn't trust me, and you shouldn't either.
What township official gave him this line? We are full of rural area. I mean, we are prime targets for data centers and for solar farms and for wind farms. And our townships, our county commission just signed on to help the townships with this big lawsuit. So it's good that you feel that way, because that's exactly where I mean, you've hit the heart of Livingston County and our battle, our rural end of it anyway, where we are.
People misunderstand us. Look, we're not afraid of the future. We
Right.
just demand to be a part of it.
Sure.
And right now, people feel, I mean, these are areas I was mentioning earlier. These are areas that don't have reliable Wi-Fi or internet. And you're talking about putting a data center right here. Maybe you should take care of us first. Maybe you should. And then when you do that, and the people decide what they want, at that point, we can do some things that would help us to eliminate property taxes while also paying our law enforcement officers, taking care of our schools and our roads. But we have to have a plan that makes sure that we protect our communities and our people first. That's the priority. That's why I'm here.
You a micromanager or a macromanager?
I am somebody who
I just slipped that in, people. He didn't have that prepared there.
No, so a macro manager. That's a good word.
It's a lovely word. That's my favorite word.
So I would say that you pick people who are the best at their job. You tear down barriers and you build bridges, and you let them do their jobs and you hold them accountable.
That would be macro.
And so again, it's going to be getting the best, most talented people, letting them do their jobs, and then holding them accountable. Because essentially, the buck stops here.
It does.
It stops here. And so I don't point. And this is another thing. I am sick and tired of when people get into office and they say, "Well, my predecessor, bullcrap. We elected you to fix the problem." I didn't get to show up to my unit in the Army and then blame my predecessor because we didn't have enough helicopters that could fly, or we didn't have the fuel, or something didn't happen with the food. No, it's up to me. And so I don't point, I use my thumbs. Mm-hmm. So on day one, it's up to me. Hold me accountable because it's my job. And so I'm going to be surrounding myself with talented people. I'm going to be holding them accountable because I know you're going to be holding me accountable. And that's the way government should work.
Good. That's true. All right, let's look over here a few things here. We got a million we need Johns, and John's the real deal.
That's nice.
A lot of this stuff. Oh, we got lots of that. I've been watching that.
I don't see that on the screen too often.
Yeah. Let's see. We need data centers. We do not need them on our farmland. That's a good statement there.
See that? So right there. The last comment. That's what you call balance. Yeah. Michigan, like I said, we're not afraid of the future, but we demand to be a part of it. And when we do it the right way, when the people lead, then we can lower our property taxes. Then we can diversify and grow our economy. Then we can make our state so that our kids don't have to leave when they graduate high school. Amen. These are things that we can do, but it has to be on the terms of the people, not the politicians.
Agreed. You work tirelessly to protect us by saving Selfridge. Your passion is greatness. Benson has more issues. Hi, Kat. It's the Wayne 12 there. More issues than Vogue. Kat Nova is one of my favorite people. Let's see here. Benson has a ton of issues, lots of explaining to do. Yes. So here we go. Thank you for working so hard to reach every part of the state. Hard-hitting answers coming from John. Let's see. I voted. Patty P says she voted. Hi, Patty. She voted for you yesterday.
That's one. I got one.
You got one. All right. Good. Rob, good points about winning. That is a good point. We're already winning purple seats. Let's touch on that for a second. If we go into November, and everybody here that watches this regularly, we all know me. I'm big picture Debbie. And it's like looking down the road, we've got to have a team that knows how to pull the purple, as I always say it. So we got Doug Lloyd. That's one. A Democrat seat and beat Democrats. And we've got Tony Forlini that's beat Democratic incumbents all over the spot, and having a governor that's beat Democrats before too. That's a sweet spot to be in here, you're the only one that can beat Benson. Tiffany welcomes you to the red county of Livingston. Matthew Stafford running over there in the 11th district.
Matthew Stafford,
already voted for you. So, yep, Tyler, Sheriff Mike Murphy. Oh, yeah. You didn't say him on your election. Look, you can kick me now. I looked at you. All right. So,
you don't hit girls. You don't
good answer. Really good answer. Okay. John James, proven experienced leader. Let's go. All right. So, it's supposed to be say, let's fly.
Let's go either way.
Olivia, come on. Let's fly. Let's try to keep up. Okay, here we go. All right. So, anyway, look at that. Sandra H voted for you, and yesterday, and husband too. Yes, great job. Yes. Great job. Okay. All right. Well, I can't tell you how excited I am. Oops. I agree. Patty agrees with the data center plan. And you're right. I mean, if we don't, I mean, there's a big thing. Nobody wants the data centers, but guess what? Do you really want China to have all their data?
That's right.
Do you really want them to have it? My God, they're the ones that are getting it. So yes, I get it. You don't want it in your backyard, but we've got to come up with a plan. And I'm really glad to hear you say that, because we do have to at some point. So anyway, all right. Well, I'm getting glared at by the manager outside the door. You can't see it, but I can. So I promise, and I always keep my word. I promise the hard stop. So once again, John, thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Can't tell you how excited I was to hear you were coming. And so thanks for the meet and greet, and thanks to everybody who came out. It was a great crowd that came out here
Let's
today.
see if I can hug you without looking
Oh,
at your
yeah,
side of your
yeah,
hip.
there you
How about
go.
that? Yeah, see? That's good.
That worked.
Thanks for
No
having me. I
kidding,
really
kidding.
appreciate that.
All right, guys, everybody, I'm going to put you on some commercials here. Rob, get in here, because Rob's got some stuff he's going to talk to you about. But I'm going to put you on some commercials, so we'll be back shortly. Maybe.
Why should you join the Livingston County Republican Party?
Why, you ask?
Yeah, why?
Why join?
The Republican Party is the party of common sense.
Common sense.
Republicans support the Constitution.
Republicans protect your rights.
We fight to keep your children safe.
We fight to keep boys and men out of girls and women's sports.
We fight to keep boys out of girls' restrooms.
We fight for you.
What does the Republican Party do?
We help Republican candidates get elected.
Why is it important to elect Republicans?
Why is that important?
Why? Tell me, why is that important?
Livingston County is one of the safest counties in Michigan.
Livingston County has one of the lowest crime rates in the state of Michigan.
Livingston County has the lowest tax millage rate of all 83 counties.
Republicans work to balance the budget.
Republican legislators vote against raising your taxes.
Republican elected officials believe in transparency.
Republican clerks run elections with integrity.
Republican trustees protect your rights.
Republicans support our veterans.
Who can join?
If you are conservative, we want you in our party.
All conservatives are welcome at our table.
Join our activities.
Join the fun.
Become a member.
Join us now.
Hi, I'm Deb Drick, Chair of Livingston County Republican Party. Our conservative message has been very well received in Livingston County, and I'm so happy to share with you that people are stepping up right and left to help. The only thing's missing is you. Come join our mission. Come join our fun. Go to livingstonrepublicans.com and click join. You'll be glad you did.
And we're back. I'm Rob Norris, and we're here to talk to you about 2A. But before we do, I just love that commercial. You know, that is one of the best commercials. That was a great idea. I'd love to tell you I had everything to do with that commercial, but I had nothing to do with the commercial at all. But it is awesome. I love how hard hitting it is, and how it's everybody in that video was part of the community. That's Livingston County. That's awesome. So on to 2A Day and the gun vote. Boy, we just saw one heck of an interview by John James. I'm sorry, but the first thing that he did is he came in and he gave it to God. That's a big deal to me. That's a huge deal to me. And that's what we need, Michigan. We need somebody who's going to you know, put God first, and then put Michigan second, that kind of deal. And then our kids were high up on his list too, so that was really cool. But back to 2A Day, that's September 12th of this year. And we got what? A bunch of vendors,
We have demonstrations, we have don't forget our preparedness festival.
Oh, that's right. This year we're doing something kind of different. So they weren't going to have the preparedness expo at all. So what we decided to do is we decided to make it part of 2A. So if it seems kind of weird that we're doing a family preparedness expo, and also at the same time we're doing 2A Day, that's to make sure that both events went on this year, because that's how important 2A believes that is.
Well, you think about it, they go together anyway.
They really do. They really do.
They mesh perfectly together. So.
I would say my prepping habit is just as bad as my gun habit, you know? Yeah. So, I mean, you know, it's all good. Yep. And so it'll be September 12th from 9 to 5. And Oh wait, we got. Oh no, that's for John. That wasn't for me. There's comments still coming in, but but comments are coming in for me. That's okay.
You're that guy. What can
So September 12th, 9 to 5. 9 to actually 1 o'clock is going to be the Preparedness Expo. And then from 1 to 5 is going to be 2A Day. It's going to be exactly what you normally expect. You're going to see a bunch of people bearing their arms, God-given right to bear arms. They'll be there. We'll see some candidates. We'll see some candidates that aren't necessarily Republican, and we'll see candidates that are Republican. And the reason why we're all in there together is for the gun vote.
Yep.
Okay, gunvotes.com. 41% of your population in Michigan own guns. That tells you something about Michigan. We're pretty awesome.
Now,
I mean, yeah. So that's
and the key is to get them to come out and vote. So
yes.
If you have your neighbors out there, they're gun owners, they're hunters, they believe in the Second Amendment, remind them that, unless they get off their duffs and actually put that vote into action, it's not going to matter.
It's not, yeah.
We can have what we had 2 years ago with the Democrats ramming through every piece of crap legislation that they possibly can.
Yep.
We don't need that. We need you to get out there and make your voice heard.
Yeah, and you know what? It's one of the few ways that people can actually affect change in Michigan, right? Mm-hmm. And so if you're only planning on coming to the general election, then I'm not sure how much your vote's going to really count, okay? Because the democratic process happens at the primary. We need you at the primary. Then at the general, we all band together and we vote for a gun vote, right?
Absolutely.
All right, folks. So gunvotes.com, 2A Day. Oh,
yeah, go ahead. Don't forget, 2A Day this year is free.
That's right. Yeah. It's free. You got no excuse at all. We'll come hunt you down. No, I'm just kidding. We won't actually. We won't have time for that. But we do want to see every one of you at 2A Day this year, September 12th from 9 to 5. Take care, everyone. Bye. Bye.